everybody, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with another thought of the day, stroke rant, semi-rant really, just about something related to Newcastle United that we want to get off our chest, or I want to get off my chest. In particular, we're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. As it's international break, it's a perfect time to do this video. It is very topical amongst the fan base. Yes, we are talking about one of our players who's probably very unlucky not to be in the England squad. We're going to get stuck right into that in a minute. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We'd love you to come on board. We're just under 2,600 subs. Smash the button, come and join us. All free content and Evermore. 2 weekly shows, Mondays and Wednesdays, and pop the videos just like this one you're about to watch. You won't regret it. Just Newcastle United chats with a little bit of stats thrown in as well when the stat man's computer is firing all cylinders. Very good to check that out, especially for transfer targets. So let's get stuck in. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about Joe Willock, Joseph Willock, or Willoquinho, as Bruno has otherwise nicknamed him. Maybe he'll get a cap for Brazil. Yes, we're talking about why he is not in the England setup. So just to give you a little bit of background on Joe Willock, he's only 23 years old, believe it or not, Joe Willock. He seems to have been around for ages now. But he's absolutely quality as a player. We signed him as a goal-scoring midfielder. He looked very much like a bit of a Frank Lampard type, arrive late in the box, you know, could finish everything that came along to him, you know, that run of 8 goals in 8 games or something. Eddie Howe has somehow managed to turn this lad into a complete footballer rather than just a goal-scoring midfielder. And at 23 years old, he is literally one of the best midfielders in the league. Just come back from injury, so he wouldn't have made this England squad. But we're talking about how long is it going to be till Joe Willock is knocking on that door? I've got my opinions on Gareth Southgate in a minute, which I will share, which won't be very favourable for any Gareth Southgate fans. I suggest you maybe go make yourself a cup of tea. Right, but looking at Joe Willock, so Joe Willock has played for England under 16s, right up to 21s, 2 caps for the 16s with 1 goal, 6 caps for the under 19s with no goals, 7 caps for the under 20s with 4 goals. That shows you how good he was at putting in the back of the onion bag then. He's had 4 under 21 caps from 2019 to 2020 with no goals. So Joe Willock is played for England right through the ranks, really. And this is the problem with England, in my opinion, is certainly with this manager at the moment, he's picking players who don't even play football. Really, you don't have to play for your club to get in this guy's England squad, no matter how good you were before. Prime example, Calvin Phillips, right? Calvin Phillips is a very good defensive midfielder, very different position to Joe Willock, but just bear with me for a second. So Calvin Phillips is 27 years old, I believe he is now. Great player. I wish we'd signed him in the summer. I wanted us to sign him. He's went to Manchester City and he's done nothing. He's played very, very little football. As a matter of fact, he's only played, get this, 5 Premier League games and 3 Champions League games with a grand total of 61 minutes in the Premier League and 41 minutes in the Champions League. Fucking pathetic. And he walks into the England squad. Do me a favour, Gareth, you bellend. You're about as good as picking squads as you're taking penalties, son. I'm sorry, but that is horrendous. Where is the incentive for anybody to put it in at club level before they get a chance at national level? England are just about to kick off. James Maddison's getting his very first start. This kid's been balling in the Premier League for the past God knows how many years. Hopefully he'll be wearing black and white next season. But he's just getting a start for England now. Jack Grealish took ages to get a start for England when he was carrying Villa every single week. I don't know what the hell goes on under this manager's mind. I really, really don't. Yes, he's done well with England, so he has a little bit of credit in the bank. But come on, mate. You're picking a kid who's played what? You know, barely 2 hours of football the entire season? Do me a favour. Over Joe Willock? I just don't get my head around that at all. But going back to Mr. Willock, yes, this is what we want to see a lot more of. Look how good the lad looks in an England shirt, man. Banging it in the back of the net, number 8 on his chest. He's an absolute quality player. You know, so what does Joe Willock bring over some of the other players that are in there? So just going through Joe Willock's stats for the last year, you know, we know what Joe Willock brings in terms of his assists and passes. So he's on 0.17 assists per game. So he's up in the 85 percentile for midfielders in his position. His X assists are at the 94 percentile, which is unbelievable. His shots total, he's 1.81 shots a game, so he's 90 percentile. His passes, his progressive carries are 93%. His pass completion isn't great, it's 41%, so he needs to work on that. His touches, though, are 3.75 a game, so it's 99 percentile. And his progressive passes, over 5 a game, so he's the 95 percentile. Defensively, he can come back and track back, that's what he does very well. Tackles, he's on 1.94 a game, so he's on 41%. Interceptions, he's on 0.82 a game, so 27%. But blocks, he's on 98%. What Joe Willock does, Joe Willock doesn't come and smash into you like a Roy Keane or a Vieira. He blocks and he does very well, and then he intercepts the ball and then takes it for a little wander. So he's very, very good at that. How does he compare to some of the guys who are in England squad ahead of him now? I was about to pull Conor Gallagher to pieces, but actually his stats aren't too bad, to be fair. So looking at Conor Gallagher, His shots are slightly behind Joe Willock. He's 1.64 a game, so he's 86 percentile. His pass completion is 25 percentile, so he's below Joe Willock in that one. His progressive carries is 1.8978%, so he's not a million miles away. His blocks is actually 2.14 a game. Is Conor Gallagher, 99 percentile. Tackles, he's 2.44, so he's up in the 70 percentile. So actually, Conor Gallagher isn't too bad in all fairness. But Conor Gallagher's the same age as Joe Willock. He's 23 years old. These are the kind of players, really, as an international manager, that you should be picking. Let's go look at old Mackham boy Jordan Henderson. It's not because he's a Mackham I'm having a go at him. It's because he's 32 years old. He shouldn't even be in England squad. He's about to start a game. I'm fucking quicker than Jordan Henderson. So looking at Jordan Henderson's statistics, obviously assists, he's not particularly wonderful. He's at the 51 percentile. That's not really his game. It passes attempted, to be fair, to 97 percentile. 61% passing completion, so he's a bit better there. Here's the interesting bit. So you would think of Jordan Henderson going back a little bit more and being more of a defensive midfielder. 26 percentile for tackles, 1.70. That's not good for a player that's supposed to be going back as his legs are filling. And blocks, he's on 0.87 a game, 18 percentile. Joe Willock is right up in the 90 odd. So that tells me that he's not giving you that defensive cover either. And he's not really giving you anything going forward either, as Jordan Henderson. So for me, Jordan Henderson shouldn't be in the England squad ahead of someone like Joe Willock. What else can Joe Willock bring you in terms of international football? Joe Willock can bring you a bit of flexibility in terms of his position. He can play out on the left in a front three. He can play as a midfield three. He can play as an attacking or number 10 in the midfield. So the lad's giving you loads of options there. Out of him and Longstaff, no disrespect to Longstaff, I think that Willock's probably got more of a chance to get in this England squad just because of his pace and his ability to carry the ball above others. I mean, Mason Mount's off form this season. Conor Gallagher's Chelsea is stumbling. He's kind of in and out. His stats are good, as I said there, but a lot of that might be weighted from last season. When you're looking at the yearly stats, really. But listen, Joe Willock's been phenomenal this season for us. I mean, yes, he's just come back from injuries, as I said, so he would never have made this squad. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Is Joe Willock a little bit hard done by? Does he deserve an England shout? You look at some of them players around there and you think, are they really walking? Yes, I mean, Jude Bellingham, you could argue Declan Rice, because he's a phenomenal defensive midfielder. But Calvin Phillips, like I say, he's barely played 2 hours of football. Gallagher's in and out. Yes, he dropped Mason Mount from the squad. But you look at the rest of them there and you think, are they really, Jordan Henderson, do they really need to be called up as England squad? He's picking Maguire, who doesn't even get a game. I don't really understand that. Nobody seems to challenge Southgate on these decisions. In my opinion, he should be challenged on it. And I think Joe Willock is very hard done by not to be in the England squad. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We always appreciate to hear what you've got to say about it. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We'd love you to come on board. Smash the button, all free content, never more. And if you can, give us a like as well. It helps the video get around YouTube and really helps the channel grow. We'll be back with some more Newcastle United thoughts soon enough. And until then, let's keep supporting that Team McCoy United. We look forward to seeing you back in the black and white shirt, Joe Willock, and you'll be doing well and put more pressure on that knacker to pick you. Catch you later, guys. Bye-bye.